What happens when someone you trust tells you a lie? You'd get pissed, right? Well, what happens if someone tells you a lie that expands through almost 5 years? You'd be more than just pissed, right? Well, what if someone you follow for that amount of time actually didn't deliver the product they promised? They didn't work on it as promised multiple times, they didn't stick to the schedule, and they didn't even bother to make any major improvements. What if this product never came out? You'd be more than irritated at this point. What if I told you there was another product like that one that was pretty much better than product A in every shape or form, and they were doing it faster? You'd be more interested in product B than in product A. You'd become more conscious about product B. You'd follow that more. Product B only takes, let's say, 1 year, maybe 2, and is, all in all, a more interesting product than product A. But what about the original supplier? You know, the one you spent 5 years on waiting for product A. Well, you start to see that most of the updates are the same. Most of them only make the game slightly better, but it's too time-consuming for you to wait on. So you start to be more attentive on the game, looking the same every time a new update comes. Whereas product B has a more interesting art style and a much more interesting design to it, and it even runs better in most occasions. Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay, I'm very sorry about the lackluster and very stoic intro, but I just wanted to get your attention going. By the title of the video, you can already tell who we're going to be talking about today. Now, I want to get the who out of the way before we talk about the what, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's definitely not going to confuse a bunch of people. Some of you may know him as Yandere Dev right now, but before he became the Yandere Dev, he was known as EvaXephon, or EvaXephon. I don't know how you pronounce names, because I'm stupid apparently. Now, his real name is Alexander Mann, or Mahan, or however the fuck Americans pronounce this word. He worked for a video game company for 3 years prior to the creation of his character Yandere Dev, then left to pursue his dreams of becoming an indie game developer. There's nothing wrong there, right? But let's go even further than that. Before his creation of his Yandere Dev character, he went online by the name of EvaXephon. Now, he went by the name of EvaXephon and joined a messaging board by the name of Losers. This is where the story gets a little bit more troubling for Alex. Now, before Alex became Yandere Dev, he used to stream games. Well, if you can call them that. These games were Reupload, Haramase, and Artificial Girl 2. Now, both of these games have something in common. It's airship. Yeah! Now, these games had a very big influence on Alex, and also had an influence on his taste with women, which is pretty evident in the games that he attempted to publish, but never really had them see the light of day properly. We'll get back to that later. But this was just the beginning of the worries I had when making the script for this video. The more I did research on Alex, the more worried and disturbed I got when reading the stuff that he did before he became Yandere Dev. An example of this is justifying the Columbine shooting. What happened there was unforgivable and pretty messed up. Truth be told, it's pretty fucking disgusting that anyone would justify the shooters in any way. Unfortunately, Alex did just that. Not a pretty picture so far. Well,
It gets worse. He also fantasizes about attempting genocide to rid humanity of the bad people, including people who swear and people who had more than one partner in their lifetime. I fit one of those criteria with my swearing, so I guess Alex is gonna come after me. After the members from the site caught wind of his statements, they advised him to get some serious help fast. He didn't take any of the advice to heart though. However, he became increasingly passive-aggressive, defensive, and even insulted them. After this, he was banned from the site.
Relatively clean. I would shake it off and then just beat the devil out of it. As I say, that has to be the most fun part of the whole technique. Let's wash the old brush. I just like it.
3 years later, the trail picks up on a Gaia forum. Y'all remember Gaia, right? No? Just me? Okay. He blames his looks, which were deemed average or moderately attractive by his fellows, and his lack of self-confidence. Now, hear me out. I don't think anyone is too ugly for a chance at a relationship. Having self-confidence in yourself is the key to anybody trying to start a relationship. Try talking to people you like. Little by little, start learning their interests and learning a bit about them so you can get interested and have a good conversation. Basically, don't do anything creepy, just act normal. You're not trying to get the person to marry, that comes after. Anyways, what does this have to do with Yandere Dev Noble? Well, see, Alex at the time was unwilling to show any other interests other than his own. Showing interest in others is a pretty important part in trying to get a relationship. But I guess Alex just didn't get the memo. And also, he didn't get that killing both of your parents was bad, but hey, what the fuck do I know? Now, we have one more important thing I want to cover before we move away from the EvaXephon arc and into the Yandere Dev arc. And that is babes. Babes was a community created by Alex which had extensively covered breasts for female video game characters. How classy. This isn't all though. Alex was also a prolific writer of fanfiction. Most, if not all of his fanfictions had sex as a central narrative. Well, of course, maybe everyone has done it, but just not the way Alex does it. See, his longest work of fiction is 35,000 words, fairly normal for a fanfic writer standards. Except that this is a fanfic about a woman sex slave that's happy with her condition. Yikes. Well, that's not the worst of it. Almost all fanfics that's been found feature abuse and sexual violence. Full disclosure that these fanfics are online, so be careful when reading them. You can find them very easily. I found a few. I'm not going to link them because YouTube did not like that last time when I linked Shadbase's website, so I'm not going to do that, and I learned my lesson. Okay, now that we got the whole messaging board arc out of the way, the whole EvaXephon arc out of the way, let's get into the game development arc. As the title dictates, this is the arc in which Alex started to develop games before he became Yandere Dev. Before he started to develop Yandere Simulator, he made his own game called Lunar Scythe to impress Mike Z, the lead programmer for Skullgirls and Indivisible. Unfortunately, this would mark the beginning of a long-running problem with Alex that would follow him even to this day. The problem being his coding. Now see, the game was very primitive and lacking the basic necessary features for a beat-em-up game. Here's a quote from Mike Z regarding Alex's coding. He preferred the coding to be solid and easy to customize later down development. Despite Mike's feedback, Alex held a grudge against him for a long time, even after Mike encouraging him to keep working on the project. After this, he made other game prototypes such as Lunar Scythe, Booby Clear, and another title called Shada. Now, a lot of people criticize Shada for looking too much like the game Ilgi, even to the point where it was almost borderline plagiarizing it. Now, before we end this scene, I actually want to talk about Lunar Scythe, one of the games he's worked on. Now, I'm no expert in coding, but looking at this code from someone with basic knowledge of coding, you can see how much of a mess this is. Now, I'm no expert in coding, but looking from this code from someone with basic knowledge of coding, you can see how much of a mess it is. This coding process gets even worse in Yandere Simulator. Remember that video he made where the first rival in the game Osana was and why it was taking too long for him to implement her into the game? It was because of his terrible coding. There's actually a video made by user Arshu where he takes a look at his coding.
Bruh, look at this dude. Wait till you see the. No, 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 no. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips. Oh, he tried it. Look at this one.
From here, we get to see what a disaster his coding is. What's the problem? Well, if you scroll down in the comment section, you can see a comment by the user name of FM Productions who breaks down all the code featured in the video, even adds timestamps to them, so you can go ahead and watch that. Okay, back it up a little. Surely he must have put Osana by the game by now. You're not particularly wrong, and you're not right either. In a recent May 2019 update video, he actually says that the game isn't even near ready for arrival, so yeah. Which is astounding because he had 10 months to do so. Even so, he was actually supposed to implement the rival way earlier than this. Think about that. Although he did say in a recent September update that the game is ready for its first rival, now, mind you, he has to make 8 more rivals. If Osana took this long to get into the game, how long is it going to take for the other 7? God, that's a nightmare and a half just thinking about it. Now we've made it to the infamous Yandere Dev arc. I'm pretty sure we all know who this user is. 1 month later, the user, now under the name Yandere Dev, came back with a working prototype of the Hitman Yandere girl killing characters in a sandbox-like demo. This prototype garnered quite a lot of praise. Yandere Dev then proceeded to cater to the audience of 4chan, declaring that he would only stick to the audience of /V. He also promised to never create a Patreon, never allow a lesbian pairing in the game, never censor anything, and never make the game beatable with any method that involved murder. Never create a Kickstarter, and never talk to sites like Kotaku. He also stated that if the game was discovered by someone like PewDiePie, he would delete the game. Of course, all of these were empty promises as the game got more popular. He was even offered $2,000 for allowing Senpai to be female, which prompted him to make the statement that a girl-on-girl pairing would be available later in the game. A lot of these promises were never kept, and even after 4chan turning a blind eye at him and keeping his promises, he left the site for 8chan. So as a summary to this scene before it ends, we've learned that Yandere Dev is somewhat of a liar and a person that can't really keep his promises. So please be careful pledging to his Patreon. Please. The girl you play as, let's call her Yan-chan, actually has a name, Ayano Aishi. She's described by Alex as an emotionless girl who suddenly develops feelings after meeting this boy, who is, in this case, Senpai. Now Noble, that's all fine and dandy, but why would we pay attention to that? Well, here's the kicker. Remember when I explained to you all the whole fanfic arc with Alex? It's gonna be very prominent in this next arc. Ayano is supposed to act the same way as her mother did. Her mother, who ended up kidnapping and raping her father. Alex, you just gotta stop adding dairy to everything, man. I mean, come on, really? The game is a mess. From its coding to its performance, Yandere Sim suffers a lot. At the beginning of Yandere Sim's lifecycle, the game was receiving multiple updates per month, which was good. It meant that the game had a steady flow of communication between the dev and the audience. Another reason why these updates are better than the ones we're getting right now is because they actually had substance to them. They had substance to them rather than tiny builds and tiny fixes and less noticeable improvements. Stuff he isn't doing right now. As of this recording, his Patreon earning per month has gone down from more than 4K, which was in July of 2018, to almost 2.4K a month as of November of 2019. Quite a staggering paycheck if you ask me. But I'm not here to annoy you with how much money he makes on Patreon. What I am here to annoy you with is his game. See, Yandere Simulator started development as of early as 2014 and has been in development for more than 5 years now. The game has had small changes to what it used to be, but as of recently, the speed in which the development process has been going is slowing down. Is slowing down, has slowing down, I guess. Either way, it's slowing down. See, what I mean by this is that a feature like an art style should have been in the game within the first 2 years at best. But that's kinda hard for only one guy, right? Well, not really. See, there have been multiple games that actually took less than 5 or 6 years to develop. An example of this is Dust in Elysian Tale. The game was single-handedly created by Dean Dodro, with exceptions of the voice acting and music, but the game was single-handedly created by only one person. Here's the fun part. Dean didn't know how to code. He actually learned, and the initial consideration of learning how to code scared him off, but after the initial learning bump, he stated that it came naturally to him, and he said that he genuinely had fun with the coding parts of the game. As a result, Dust looks absolutely amazing and visually remarkable because of its art style and gameplay. And the best part of this is that it was only made by one guy. When I look at Dean, I look at a hard-working, problem-solving developer. I smile because he doesn't make excuses and tries to hide behind an obstacle like Yandere Dev does. He also didn't take any breaks when programming the game, which is remarkable. Unlike Yandere Dev, who took multiple breaks from coding. Now, I'm not saying you should work yourself to the bone, but the amount of dedication that Dean had for his game was very impressive. I get comparing a 3D game to a 2D game isn't fair, but Yandere Dev also likes to compare his game to something akin to Persona 5 or even Yakuza. Both games that have teams of people working on it, and also both games had a very unique art style, unlike Yandere Simulator. This is what Yandere Simulator looked like back when it was first developed. Here's what it looks like now. See the difference in art style? Cause I don't! Here's what Persona 5 looked like back in early development. Here's what it looks like now. A complete overhaul. Yandere Simulator looks the same even after 5 years of development. Now, granted, I'm not saying that the art style can't change in the future. It can. It's just, what is taking so long for him to get an artist to help him with the models? And with that, we segue into my next point. Yandere Dev used to have a team. Well, team is kinda generous. What I mean with this is that he used to have a programming partner who knew how to program. I say partner very lightly. See, what I mean to say is volunteer. Over the development of the game, Alex has had numerous volunteers. I may get this wrong, so please don't quote me. But out of the 65 recorded volunteers, only 3 have been paid so far, including a bunch of very well-known voice actors and actresses. None of the ones on screen have been credited by Yandere Dev in his own game, which isn't very shocking given his track record. The only place they've been credited on is on the wiki fan page, a page that really hates Yandere Dev. Now, it's not a hate page or anything akin to Wikia, and before they hated Alex, they actually gave him respect. But then Alex had to go and fuck it up with this email. Another volunteer that went by the name of Dilik Golo, I don't know what, left the project after disturbing directions the project was going in. Design showing rampant sexualization of school children, gameplay focused on illicit sexual violence towards minors, and Yandere Dev's past soliciting a minor had made Dilik Golo uncomfortable enough to refuse to take any further part in the project, even with the promises of payment. Yeesh. Other volunteers unfortunately didn't have a chance to part ways with Alex on cordial terms. Yandere Dev sound pretty shady to you yet? Well, here's a list upon list of things that Alex has done to make people hate him. Such as theft of stolen store-bought assets, art theft, being aggressive on social media when his game received criticisms and feedbacks from others, encouraging others to target and spam Twitch staff and employees at convention. The list goes on, but I'd be here for longer than an hour. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've made it to the end. There is a lot of info to still go over, but the video started off as a passion project of mine, and it just spiraled into a full-on, more than 7-page long script. I don't condone harassing someone like Yandere Dev just for the sake of harassing. Just like talking to a wall, there is no point to it. I made this video to make it clear to the fans that are still watching him to know who he is. A lazy developer who manipulates and abuses his viewers and fans into thinking the game will be ready anytime soon, when in fact the game is nowhere near ready for any sort of release. There isn't even a demo with the first rival in it. People like Yandere Dev are the type to take any sort of negative feedback that may help them improve and call it hate. I hope his viewers and fans start to see that his practice and his promises are nothing more than lies and empty promises. Any fans out there, and I know this is too late to ask, but please question yourself as to why it takes him so long to even implement the first rival into the game so primitive as this one. And also, I want you to take a minute to try and calculate how long it's going to take him to put all of the rivals into the game. Also, as a note to Alex, Yandere Dev himself, I want you to implore you to use the time that you have to stream and use it to program and code your game. Also, you have potential to be a great developer. All you need to do is accept criticism, try to work with others, and treat your fans with respect. And maybe, just maybe, Yandere Sim will be done before I have children. Alright, so the video is already done, but I recorded this bonus scene as just like a little bit of a bonus. I know I just talked about not harassing Yandere Dev, but I want to talk about this one little thing that people have been doing online. It's called a banned speedrun. So essentially what the banned speedrun is you go onto Yandere Dev's Discord and you post a picture. It could be any of these pictures and try to get banned as fast as possible. I know what you might be thinking. What the fuck is this? It's truly an incredible thing. I have been addicted to these speedruns, to like compilations of these speedruns. So essentially, what the speedrun is you post a picture into his Discord and get banned. It's simple as that. Try to get the fastest possible time. There are different categories. You have select percentage, pace percentage, and stuff. But this brings me into my other part, where if you want to get into his Discord, you have to pay for his Twitch. Now, some people have actually paid for his Twitch, but have gotten banned just because. They haven't even posted a picture or anything, they got banned, which is very fucked up. So, with that being said, he has a Discord that has a paywall behind it, and even if you do pay, there is a very small chance, but it could also be very big, that you can get banned from his server without doing anything. So essentially, you have to subscribe to his Twitch, and if you get banned from not doing anything, you've wasted your money. That already showed. Also, I really want to talk about a game called Watashi no Mono, which is a game akin to Yandere Simulator. It started off as a mod, and then started off becoming its own thing. And I wanna congratulate the developer behind the game. I want to congratulate Epic Meal Dev, who, god damn, it took 2 years, but the game is already looking so fantastic. I want to give a few feedbacks, though. I don't know if he's watching this video. If you are, please take these feedbacks. These are just feedbacks, by the way. These are just minor nitpicks. I played the game. The game runs perfectly fine and perfectly smooth on my PC, which Yandere Dev can't do that. And I'm very surprised that this game can. But one feedback and one nitpick that I want to give is that the game is a little bit too bright. Try to put a little bit more contrast into the game, and it will look significantly better. I know this is a feedback that he's had before. He or she, I actually don't know what the developer's gender is, so yeah. But I really want to congratulate Watashi no Mono's developer, Epic Meal Dev, for making a game like this. It took him 2 years, and already the game looks surprisingly better than Yandere Dev. So go ahead and play that game instead. Give him your hard-earned money, him or her your hard-earned money, and don't give any of it to Yandere Simulator, because it's not going to come out anytime soon. There's also a bunch of videos in the description down below that will talk more in-depth on certain topics. So like, for example, there's one video in there that talks about coding. There's another video by Kappa Kaiju that talks about the game in general, and just the character of Yandere Sim. I just kind of wanted to make this overview video just to get people started. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please rate, comment videos. I'll see you guys real very soon. But until then, I'm going to try my best to make more videos, and try my best to check out the comments, because I know I'm going to get a lot of like very fucking hateful comments, but don't worry about me. Anyways, this video took way too long to make, and I hope you enjoy it. Frankly, it's going to take way longer to edit, but it was very fun writing the script. The script was 7 pages long. It's incredibly long, and I really enjoyed making the script. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Hopefully real soon. But until then, don't be a stranger. Bye! Clap! Thank you for following the development of this video. Hi there! This part of the video is completely out of left field, and I did not plan this. But I was thinking to myself, you know all those banned speedruns where they use the consume the cum chalice, a meme of him? I thought to myself, what if we do that, but I do a variant of myself, and you guys, whoever wants to do the banned speedrun and wants to have a little bit more fun, could seep this part of the video into his video, or into his Discord, as just fun. You won't get banned using my variant, but you'll get a good laugh. And you know, I like torturing Yandere Dev as much as the next person, so this one's for you. Ah.